Hello and welcome back to Mastering AWS featuring S3. So let's create a new user. We're going to log into the AWS console as the root user. The username we're going to use is Udemy. The access type, we are going to use the AWS Management Console access. We are going to give a custom password, and then we're going to modify the permissions. We're going to attach existing policies. Then we're going to search for S3, select S3 full access, click next, and then create that user. What we're going to do then is we're going to log in as that user we just created. We're going to log into S3 to make sure that works. And then we're going to try and log into a different service to see what happens. So let's head on over to the AWS console. All right, so I am here at the AWS Management Console. I am at the home page. The first thing I'm going to do in the top left-hand corner is click Services and then navigate to IAM, which is under the Security, Identity, and Compliance section. Click IAM, and then this gives you a nice overview of the IAM dashboard or console. You can see I have 2 users already set up. I have 4 roles, and I have 1 customer managed policy. One interesting thing to note is that Amazon recommends a few things. First, once you create your free AWS account, the first thing you should do is go into Identity and Access Management and create a user that has access to all sources. It is best practice never to use your root user account unless you absolutely have to. The reason being is if someone gets a hold of a root user's username and password, they can do all sorts of damage. Whereas if someone gets access to a user, they can just delete it and create a new user, a new role. The second thing is users do not have permission to anything to start. And we can verify that by creating a user and then going to S3, for example, and we'll get an error. It says we don't have permission. So let's go ahead and create a new user. So you can do one of 2 things. You can either click this users link here or click users on the left-hand side. And then as you can see, I have 2 users already created. First thing I'm going to do is click add user, give that person a username of Udemy, and then down here, you want that user to have AWS Management Console access. So we're going to check that box. We're going to create a custom generated key. Let's give it something that we will remember because we're going to log right back into it. And then I'm going to uncheck the required password reset. Click next. Then here we are going to attach existing policies directly. And then this is where we're going to search for S3. S3 is the storage component, one of the storage components for AWS. So I'm going to select Amazon S3 full access. Before we do that, if we click this drop down here, we can see the permissions that have been granted. You can see all of the permissions by clicking S3, and then you can see that if we give a user S3 full access, they'll have access to all of the options for the policy. For example, they can access any buckets that are listed in S3. They can add, they can write to it, they can delete, they can do anything. So let's go back. One alternative that you have is you can actually view the JSON version of the policy summary. And basically with this JSON's a set of key value pairs where the version is the key and then 2012 1017 is the value. So this states the exact same thing as the policy summary we just looked at. The effect is to allow, the action, which means service, is S3. The resource, the asterisk, means all. So basically it says allow all actions for S3. All right, so we're going to check the Amazon S3 full access checkbox here. We're going to click next to review, and it just has a list of our permissions that we've enabled, and then we're going to click create. And it says we have successfully created that person. What we're going to do next is we're going to copy this. And then we're going to put it in a new file here. And so this is our account ID, this ID you need in order to log into IAM. I'm going to enter in our newly created user and enter in the password. We'll click sign in. It's actually going to kick me out of this other one because you can't be signed in to two different accounts on the same computer. So now that I am logged in as Udemy, as you can see in the top right hand corner here, I'm under that user name we just created. I'm going to click on S3 and I'm able to successfully log in. If I wanted to, I could create a bucket and objects and go from there, but that's out of the scope of this class. I'm just going to click this AWS image logo here in the top left. And then what I'm going to try and do now is I'm going to click on EC2 because it's already in my recently visited services. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to click services and then click EC2 under compute. And then as you can see, it says that I am not authorized to describe running instances or dedicated hosts, volumes, and so on. And that'll happen. You'll receive that error message in a few different ways depending on the service that you click on. So that's it for this lecture. We created an IAM role. We created an IAM user. We gave that user full access to S3. We verified that that worked by logging in as the user and navigating to S3. And then we went to a different service and viewed the errors that you would receive if you didn't have permission. Right, so thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.